Okay, let's talk about forgiveness today. To forgive someone is sometimes a hard thing to do. I myself needed to mature a lot in my life and learn a lot in my life to forgive someone who's extremely close to my heart, my father. I think one of the most important relationships in your whole life is the relationship with your parents. But it can also be one of the most complicated relationships in your whole life, depending on your parents. I would say I get along with my mother really well, but it's kind of complicated with my father. And one thing is clear, he's always there for me when I really need him. And I do feel a lot of love for my father. And I'm really grateful for him as my father. But it wasn't always that way. Back then when I was younger, I really hated my father. I would say he's the only person which I hated in my whole life. In hindsight, I would say it's only a sign of how much love I felt for him, because I think the feeling of love and the feeling of hatred are exactly the same, only that hate is a lot more raw and a lot more extreme than love. But let's get not off track here. That's a topic for another video. He did a lot of bullshit which caused me a lot of trauma in my life, which haunted me in my majority of my life. But when I turned 20, I wanted to improve the relationship with my father. So I put my anger away and tried to improve the relationship with him. And the recent event just made me a lot more grateful for that. On this day, I helped my father with work. We both were nearly finished. He swept the floor and I brought the last things. I was already daydreaming what I could do after work, but my daydreaming was interrupted when I noticed something weird. My dad drooled. At first I brushed it off and continued with the work. But then I saw he didn't stop drooling and he started to stumble. I had time to react, so I caught him and slowly laid him on the ground. In this moment I finally realized he had a stroke. I immediately called the ambulance, and in retrospective it may sound exaggerated, but in that moment I really thought those may be last moments with him. I just felt like a helpless little boy again. And when he lied there, I didn't thought of his wrongdoings or his trauma. I thought about how we went to the zoo together. I thought about how we went to the forest together and collected mushrooms, or how we drove with the bicycles together. And everything I wanted was like, one more time please. I want to do this stuff one more time with him. Fortunately, my father overcame the stroke quite well, because the doctors could treat him fast enough. And it didn't even take much time where he started nagging at me again. The funny thing is, I wasn't even annoyed. No, the opposite. I was grateful for that. Grateful that I still had more time with my father. The thing is, it's also the first time for our parents to live their life. They also have their own traumas to deal with. So they want to do mistakes and sometimes hurt people they love in that process. That's why I choose to forgive the mistakes of my father. Of course, we should still address them when they don't treat us right. Never ever is trauma an excuse to hurt other people. And forgiving also doesn't mean to just forgive them with no consequences. Forgiving is the act of letting go of the anger or hatred we feel against that person. Why should I let go of anger, you may ask? And to put it simply, you do it for yourself. Because the goal is to achieve peace for your own mind. Carrying all this burden through the day is a heavy burden, and no one should carry such a heavy burden. You were probably already thinking, why does he carry this log in the video? It looks stupid. And yes, you're right, I do probably look stupid right now, but it's the same with carrying all this anger through the day. Also the anger, unwind your mind and reflect about it, which is crucial, because letting go of emotions without processing them is never a good idea. You will only hurt yourself. In order to forgive someone, we need to accept that someone just hurt us. So don't ask why, don't ask what the intentions were, why they hurt us, okay? Just accept it and move on. It's the same when you cut yourself on some piece of glass. You don't ask the glass why, how the glass could cut us, what their intention were. No, you don't ask it. Just treat your wound, put a bandage on, and then you move on. Do the same with people. Speak with family or friends when you need help, and after do some exercise or something else just to clear your mind. After you cool down a little bit, you can think about the situation and think what will happen next. I think you don't need to be so close with the person you just forgive, okay? Like, for example, with my father, we used to fight a lot. So this year I decided to move out, and since then our relationship is better than ever because we stopped fighting all the time. Then it's also okay, or even necessary sometimes, to just forgive their act and cut the contact. And even when you forgive the person, remember, don't live in anger, don't speak ill of the person or let them live rent-free in their head. They probably had their own circumstances why they behaved the way they did. Through the day we make multiple decisions, okay? And most of the time it's about being weak or being strong, okay? And the moment where they hurt you, they choose to be weak, okay? They let the anger out of you, they let their lust, they let whatever, their trauma out and ended up hurting you, okay? Take the necessary measurements, think about it, and don't live in anger. Choose to be stronger and spread kindness. And take this event where the person hurt you, take it as a lesson to learn for your life, okay? So, that's all for today. Akazi out, be kind.